In the Quran, there's this powerful and recurring image, the throne of God. It's a concept that has absolutely fascinated and challenged thinkers for centuries. It's just a single word, really, but it opens up a whole universe of questions. So let's dive in and unpack one of theology's most profound symbols. Okay, so it all starts with verses like this one, which you can find in several chapters of the Quran. The text says that after creating everything, God established himself above the throne, or arsh in the original Arabic. And right away, that single, powerful phrase kicks off a huge question. And that really is the heart of the matter. I mean, think about it. If God is infinite, without a physical body, and completely beyond our concepts of space and time, then what kind of throne are we even talking about here? This is the exact puzzle that has fueled this incredible journey of interpretation for hundreds of years. All right, so where do you even begin with a puzzle like that? Well, the first stop on this intellectual journey is the most straightforward approach you can take. You just take the word at face value. You know, for many early commentators, the arsh was exactly that, a literal physical object, a magnificent, absolutely colossal throne that actually exists as a real part of creation. It's an intuitive first step, right? The text says throne, so it must be a throne. Now, if you go down that road, this literal view has a whole cascade of implications. It means the throne has to be a physical thing of just immense, incomprehensible size. It's got to have a specific location, which was usually imagined to be above the highest heaven. This in turn kind of suggests that God has some sort of physical attribute to occupy it, and that other beings, like angels, could physically carry it, just like some verses describe. But this really literal view, it didn't stay unchallenged for long. And what's fascinating is that the pushback didn't come from inside theology, but from a growing understanding of the universe itself. As knowledge of philosophy and astronomy just exploded, thinkers started asking some really tough questions. How could one single physical object fit into what they were discovering was an increasingly complex cosmic model? I mean, does a throne, which is the symbol of a king fixed in one spot, even make sense for a God who is, by definition, everywhere at once? And this wasn't just some abstract debate either. Islamic scholars were actively grappling with the scientific models of their day, like the Ptolemaic system of celestial spheres. And all of a sudden, that simple idea of a throne just sitting on top of everything became a lot harder to square with a complex universe of nested, moving orbs. This brought thinkers to a fundamental clash. How do you put an infinite, unlimited being onto a finite, limited object? It created this theological tension that absolutely demanded a new, more sophisticated way of looking at it. And this tension led to a really profound shift in thinking, from seeing the throne as a physical object to understanding it as a powerful metaphor for something much, much grander. And this just brilliantly illustrates that change in perspective. The throne is no longer seen as a physical object, but as a concept that represents divine authority. It's not about God's location, it's about the infinite extent of God's dominion. It gets transformed from the static seat into the dynamic, symbolic center of all creation. So let's break this metaphorical understanding down. First, the arsh is seen as a symbol of malakut, which means complete dominion. It's not a chair God sits on, but a representation of God's absolute control and total sovereignty over the entire kingdom of existence. Next, it represents knowledge. The throne is the symbolic source from which all divine wisdom flows. It's the conceptual point where the destinies of the universe are decreed and managed. All information, all plans, all of reality, it originates here. And finally, it symbolizes cosmic order. In this view, the throne is the central command hub of the universe. It's the metaphor for the system through which God governs and sustains every atom and every galaxy, making sure the cosmos runs exactly according to a divine plan. But the intellectual journey doesn't just stop at metaphor. The most profound interpretation takes this concept one step further, way into the realm of metaphysics. So in this final stage of understanding, the arsh is not just a symbol of power, but the very boundary of creation itself. It is the all-encompassing reality that contains everything within it, every universe, every dimension, every single thing, both seen and unseen. So here the concept builds to its ultimate meaning. The throne becomes the highest conceivable level of existence. It's seen as the first and greatest creation through which all of God's attributes, like power, knowledge, and mercy, are manifested. It serves as the interface, the veil between the uncreated divine reality and the created cosmos, existing fundamentally beyond our concepts of space and time. So looking back, you can see this clear, amazing evolution in thought. The interpretation journeys from a concrete, physical object to a cosmic sphere that was tied to the science of the day, to a powerful symbol of divine authority, and finally, to this profound metaphysical reality that contains all of existence itself. Ultimately, this entire journey of interpretation arrives at a breathtaking conclusion, best summarized by this idea. The Arsh is not a piece of furniture for God, but the absolute totality of God's kingdom. You know, this whole intellectual process of moving from the literal to the metaphorical to the metaphysical was sparked by a need to reconcile ancient scripture with new knowledge, which kind of leaves us with a final thought. What are the puzzles in our modern world, from quantum physics to artificial intelligence, that are forcing us to look at ancient ideas and search for even deeper meaning?